powder on it, and then it will come in a color form. If it shows a color, then that is the time we determine that the chlorine have reached to the water itself.
A littered spectacle as such could only promote pollution and infection, which makes chlorination imperative.
This campaign is one of its kind because what happened is we are already with a team, a chlorination team, and also as we are moving along with the communities who are doing the meetings, doing discussions about how they can be able to protect their water source, we also have a team that is also chlorinating the wells. And then that chlorination also, if you look at it, it also helps a lot because if the water source are chlorinated, we know that our aim is to reduce the incidence of diarrheal diseases. And I think by doing that, we're also trying to protect the water source from contamination from other forms of coliforms. And okay, we also know that giving the people the information, we also help them to adopt positive hygiene behaviors by washing hands after visiting the toilet, before preparing food, before eating, and also after cleaning the child, if the child uses the toilet. So these are things that we want people to adopt.
Sensitization is the first thing conducted during a chlorination exercise. Villagers are first counseled on the ways to maintain their wells and the essence of proper sanitation around their water sources. Here, a public health official gives us a succinct explanation of chlorination and how several assessments like a sanitary, salinity and temperature survey of the source is conducted to certify the water's composition, confirming whether it's fit for human use.
And then this water, as it is covered, it will prevent it from other external interference, because as we all know, we are just from the rainy season. If it is not covered during rainy season, there are a lot of things that could take place, and we call it human interference, whereby children or even adults can come and dump anything into the well.
How often is this done?
This is done basically during before rainy season and after rainy season, because we come to disinfect before rainy season so that people can be free from diseases such as cholera and these other related waterborne diseases. And from there, after rainy season, we will come back to the source to try to see the impact of what we have done, whether it is still existing or there are coliforms or bacteria still existing. So after rainy season, we will also come back to try to put chlorine into the source to disinfect if there are any bacteria. Yeah, which involve a lot of other analysis, because this is just part of the physical aspect. But sometimes we do collect the water to the laboratory at Abuko to try to see by doing what we call the microbiological analysis, whereby we have the total coliform and the fecal coliform, whereby we will determine if there are any bacteria present in the water body. If it is, then we have to come back to chlorine the water source.
It all boils down to clean, drinkable water, which additionally goes to salvage lives if it's efficiently utilized. Ibrahim Chata, GRTS.
One Aissatou Jaite and husband, Yusuf Bayo of Tolindin, are reflecting on the good fortune of being blessed with triplets. The babies, two boys and a girl, have been named after the president, first daughter Mariam Jame and one pa Usman Bayo. Fatou Jassi reports.
It is the dream of any couple to witness the birth of a newborn. That is exactly the experience of Yusuf Bajo and Aissatou Jaite, and on this occasion the family is blessed with triplets. Aissatou Jaite, the mother of the three babies, gave birth on December 1st at the Jammeh Foundation for Peace Hospital. An elated Yusuf Bajo, father to the triplets, was overjoyed about what he says is a blessing from God. Triplets are uncommon in Gambian families, but Bajo says this is the first time his family celebrates the birth of triplets. One of the three babies is named after His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, President of the Republic of the Gambia. First daughter Mariam Yahya Jammeh also had a namesake in the family, with the third name after Pa Usman Bajo. According to the father of the newborns, giving birth to triplets is not very common in the Gambia, so having it is a big blessing for any family. Bajo stressed that he has named his kids after His Excellency the President, Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, and the members of the first family for the love he has for the Gambian leader and his government. For her part, Aissatou Jaite, the mother of three, also expressed words of gratitude to the Gambian leader and prayed for God's protection of President Jammeh and the people of the Gambia. Honorable Babu Sonko, a friend and a party fellow of the Bajo family, expressed his delight of the birth of the triplets and the gesture of the family.
As we all know, Yusufa is very close to me. And during the course of the campaign, when he affirmed his loyalty to the president, sometime 2011, just before the presidential campaign, these are the people who have joined the wagon of the APRC and they have rallied before the president at Charles Yao during the presidential tour. Since that day to date, Yusufa is very loyal, is very committed to all APRC activities. When the wife delivered a triplets children, he informed Ansumana Marina. They came to my house to inform me this wonderful occasion, in which I feel so proud. And I threw the basket back to them. And I asked him, now what do you want us to do? He said to me, Babu, I am purely APRC militant. Now I delegated the entire children to the first family.
The babies look buoyant and full of life, beginning a journey in life with the good fortune of having their names engraved in the first family. For Grts News, I am Fatu Jassi.
We'll be back with more stories after the break.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas from GRTS. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas from GRTS.
Welcome back. At least 2,500 flood victims have been given shelter in Niger. The move has opened up hope for the many who were affected by the recent flash floods which struck the capital Niamey. We have more on that story in this report.
It's the beginning of a new life for the survivors of the recent flooding in Niamey. More than 512 heads of family for a population of around 2,500 persons are being accommodated at this site located on the outskirts of the capital. City officials are supervising the operation. We targeted everyone living in the flooded areas and brought them all to this site. Each head of family has the right to occupy one tent. If he has 2 wives, then 2 tents. If he has 3 wives, then 3 tents. Umaru Ide is a flood survivor. He lives on this site with his 2 wives and 10 children. For the time being, he's happy with what he has, but he would like to go back home as soon as possible because living here makes no sense to him. The state has to fulfill its commitments concerning our land, because we left our land and we don't know. They haven't told us anything yet. This is our biggest worry. The main concern in this site has to do with hygiene. A nurse records numerous cases of disease on a daily basis. There is no health care, though, because there are no medical supplies here. We don't have sufficient supplies to do our job well. According to a report issued on the 4th of September by the Prime Minister's office, the floods in Niger took 68 lives, and over 70,000 households were affected by the flooding. That's more than 500,000 people.
Egyptians have voted in the second round of the referendum on a new constitution. Majority of the electorate voted overwhelmingly in favor of the changes to the constitution. Yet a sizable number of anti-Morsi protesters say the new constitution betrays the revolution which overthrew Hosni Mubarak. We have details of that story in this report.
Egyptians took part in a second round of voting Saturday in a referendum on changes to the constitution. There was a 30% turnout in the first round of the referendum. 57% were in favor of constitutional changes. Critics in Egypt say the changes will favor the Islamists in power and betray the revolution that overthrew President Mubarak. The constitution will not protect women's rights or children's rights, and this concerns me because I work in education. It won't even protect minority rights. Supporters of President Mohamed Morsi, who proposed the changes, are confident. They say the constitution will provide a framework for stable institutions and can always be modified.
Well, I'm going to say yes, because I'm totally convinced that I've read all the articles, not all, over 90% of the articles of the Constitution, and I'm totally convinced that it has some points that I don't agree with totally, but again, they could be changed later on in the Parliament.
Egypt is deeply divided. Over the past weeks, there have been constant confrontations between opponents and supporters of President Morsi. Friday, there were clashes in the streets of Alexandria, Egypt's second largest city.